What if everything you thought you knew about retirement was wrong? For decades, experts, friends, even the media have been repeating the same advice, but some of it is dead wrong. And believing these myths could drain your savings faster than you ever imagined. Today, we are exposing 10 retirement myths that keep seniors broke. And trust me, myth number 7 is the one that catches almost everyone. Myth number 1, you only need 70% of your income in retirement. You have probably heard this one 1,000 times. In retirement, you only need about 70% of your working income. Sounds reasonable, right? Fewer commutes, no office lunches, less spending. Think about it. Suddenly you have free time, which means more travel, more hobbies, more dinners out with friends. Add healthcare costs, rising inflation, and helping kids or grandkids, and that 70% rule quickly falls apart. I spoke with a retired couple, Dave and Carol, who believed the 70% myth. They budgeted tightly, sold their second car, and thought they would be fine. But within 2 years, they were dipping into savings faster than expected. Because life in retirement was not cheaper, it was just different. The fix: instead of assuming a magic percentage, build a retirement budget based on your actual lifestyle. Track your spending now, adjust for inflation, and add healthcare and leisure. It is better to overestimate than find yourself short later. Myth number 2, Medicare covers everything. Many retirees step into their golden years, believing Medicare is a safety net that will catch every medical bill. But here is the shocking reality. Medicare does not cover everything, not even close. It does not pay for dental work, vision care, hearing aids, or most long-term care. And the things it does cover often come with deductibles, copays, and surprise bills. The result: thousands of seniors each year are blindsided by healthcare costs they thought were covered. Take Gloria, a retired nurse. She had always trusted Medicare, assuming it would protect her from big medical bills. Then she needed extensive dental work and new hearing aids. Medicare covered none of it. The bill, over $12,000 out of pocket. She was forced to dip into her emergency savings, money she had planned to use for travel with her grandkids. The fix: do not make the mistake of relying on Medicare alone. Look into supplemental insurance Medigap policies or Medicare Advantage plans that fill in the gaps. And always keep a dedicated healthcare fund, because medical bills are the biggest budget busters in retirement. Myth number 3, downsizing your home always saves money. It sounds so simple. Sell the big family house, buy something smaller, pocket the difference, and live stress-free. For many retirees, downsizing feels like the ultimate money-saving hack. But here's the truth: downsizing often costs more than it saves. Why? Because hidden expenses add up fast. Moving fees, realtor commissions, closing costs, new furniture, renovations, and property taxes in a hot retirement area can wipe out the savings you thought you had. I spoke with Jim and Linda, a couple who sold their 4-bedroom home after retirement to buy a smaller condo in a popular retirement community. They expected to save thousands. Instead, HOA fees, higher insurance premiums, and unexpected renovations ate up every dollar. Within 3 years, they were spending more on housing than they ever did in their old place. The fix: do the math before you move. Compare all costs minus taxes, HOA fees, insurance, and maintenance, not just the purchase price. And remember, sometimes staying put and paying off your mortgage is the smarter financial move. Myth number 4, you should stop investing after you retire. A lot of seniors believe that once they retire, it is time to pull all their money out of the market and keep it safe in cash or CDs. It feels secure. No more worrying about stock swings or market crashes. But here's the problem: playing it too safe can actually make your money disappear faster. Why? Because inflation keeps climbing, and cash does not grow. If your money sits in a savings account earning 1 or 2%, while inflation rises 3 or 4%, you are quietly losing buying power every single year. Over 20 years of retirement, that is devastating. Take Robert, a retired factory worker. He sold all his stocks when he left his job and put everything in fixed accounts. At first, it felt great. No more stress from Wall Street headlines. But 10 years later, his expenses had doubled while his money had barely grown. The safe strategy left him struggling. The fix: do not abandon growth entirely. Keep a balanced portfolio that includes some stocks, bonds, or mutual funds that historically beat inflation. The key is balance, protecting what you need now while still growing what you will need later. Myth number 5. Social Security will fully cover your retirement. One of the biggest myths seniors believe is that Social Security will take care of all their retirement needs. After all, you paid into the system your whole working life. Surely the checks should cover your expenses, right? Unfortunately, that is far from the truth. The average Social Security benefit today is around $1,900 a month. That is less than $23,000 a year. Now think about housing, groceries, healthcare, insurance, utilities, and everyday expenses. For most retirees, Social Security barely covers the basics, let alone travel, hobbies, or helping family. Take Alice, a retired teacher. She assumed Social Security would replace most of her paycheck. But once she retired, she realized her benefits only covered her rent and groceries. For everything else, she had to dig into savings, and it was a wake-up call she wished had come earlier. The fix: plan as if Social Security is just one piece of the puzzle, not the whole thing. Build other income streams, like retirement accounts, pensions, part-time work, or investments. Think of Social Security as the safety net, not the entire plan. Myth number 6. You will spend less in retirement. Many people picture retirement as a slower, cheaper lifestyle. No more commuting, no work wardrobe, fewer daily expenses. It sounds like your costs should shrink. But here is the truth. Many retirees actually spend the same or even more. Why? Because retirement is when you finally have the time to enjoy life. That means travel, hobbies, spoiling the grandkids, home upgrades, or even moving to a dream location. On top of that, healthcare expenses keep climbing every year. So instead of your spending going down, it often shifts into new categories, and those new costs can surprise you. Take Harold and Susan. They thought retiring meant simple living. But within the first 5 years, they had taken 3 cruises, remodeled their kitchen, and covered medical bills Medicare did not touch. Their expenses ended up 20% higher than before retirement. The fix: build your retirement budget on reality, not wishful thinking. Track your actual lifestyle goals and include rising medical costs. Do not assume spending drops. Plan for it to stay the same or even rise, so you are ready for the unexpected. Myth number 7. You can always work longer if you need to. A lot of people think, if my savings run low, I will just work a few more years. On the surface, it makes sense. But here is the hard truth. Millions of retirees never get the chance. Health issues, layoffs, age discrimination, or family responsibilities can force people out of the workforce earlier than planned. In fact, studies show nearly half of retirees leave the workforce earlier than they expected, and not by choice. Take Martin, a 62-year-old accountant. He figured he would work until 68 to boost his Social Security and retirement savings. But a sudden health scare forced him to quit at 63. Overnight, his careful plan collapsed, and he had to start withdrawals years ahead of schedule. The fix: do not rely on working longer as your plan A. Build your retirement savings as if you will have to stop early. If you do get to work longer, that is a bonus. But never gamble your financial security on something you might not control. Myth number 8. You should pay off all debt before retiring. It sounds like common sense. Enter retirement completely debt-free. No mortgage, no car loan, no credit cards. But while that idea feels good emotionally, financially, it is not always the smartest move. Here is why. Not all debt is bad debt. Paying off a low-interest mortgage or a car loan with cash from your retirement accounts could leave you with less liquidity, trigger big tax bills, and reduce the money you have for emergencies. Meanwhile, investments may continue to grow faster than the interest rate on your loan. For example, Janet retired at 65 with a small mortgage left, $40,000 at 3% interest. She felt pressure to pay it off, using funds from her 401k. But doing so pushed her into a higher tax bracket that year and drained cash she could have invested. In the end, she lost more in taxes and missed growth than she ever saved on interest. The fix: focus on eliminating high-interest debt like credit cards or personal loans before retirement. But do not feel pressured to wipe out every low-rate loan. Sometimes keeping a manageable mortgage while holding on to cash and investments gives you more flexibility and financial security. Myth number 9. Retirement planning ends when you retire. Many people believe that once they hit retirement, the planning phase is over. They think, I made it, now I can just relax and spend. But retirement is not the finish line. It is the start of an entirely new financial chapter. Here is the truth. Retirement can last 20 to 30 years, sometimes longer. During that time, markets shift, inflation rises, healthcare costs explode, and tax laws change. If you stop planning the day you retire, you risk running out of money long before you run out of life. Take Eleanor, who retired at 65 with a solid nest egg. She assumed her finances were set and stopped meeting with her advisor. 10 years later, higher living costs and unexpected medical expenses had drained half her savings. By the time she realized it was too late to course correct, the fix. Keep adjusting your plan throughout retirement. Review your budget annually, track inflation, rebalance investments, and plan for taxes. Retirement is not the end of financial planning. It is the phase where staying proactive matters most. Myth number 10. Leaving an inheritance should be your top priority. Many seniors feel pressure to leave behind a financial legacy for their children or grandchildren. It is a beautiful goal, but making inheritance your top priority can come at a heavy cost, your own quality of life. Too often, retirees sacrifice travel, hobbies, or even necessary health care because they are determined to save the money for the kids. But here's the truth. Your family would rather see you living well than struggling just to leave them a bigger check. And if you neglect your own needs, you could end up becoming a financial burden instead of a blessing. Consider Frank, who skipped vacations, avoided replacing his old car, and even delayed medical treatments to preserve his nest egg for his children. When his health declined, his kids ended up spending much of that inheritance on his care. The very thing he had tried to avoid, the fix. Take care of yourself first. Secure your retirement, cover your health care, and enjoy the years you worked so hard for. If there is money left, it is a gift, not an obligation. And remember, the best inheritance you can leave is the memory of a happy, fulfilled life. And there you have it, to 10 retirement myths that could quietly wreck your finances. The truth is, retirement is not about fear, it is about preparation. When you know the traps to avoid, you can build the kind of retirement that gives you freedom, security, and peace of mind. So here is my challenge to you. Which of these myths did you believe before today? Drop it in the comments. You might be surprised how many others felt the same way. And if you found this helpful, do not stop here. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and ring the bell so you never miss another tip. Then click the video right here on your screen for even more retirement strategies that can save you money and stress. Because your best years are ahead if you plan for them the right way.